Greetings, Spirit Traveler, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. You may be asking yourself, Audrey, where have you been these last 4 months?
Bella, where the hell have you been, Luca?
Let's just say I was on sabbatical, and not that I tried to film 2 other videos that were such epic fails that they will never see the light of day. Much how simultaneously it was winter in the Midwest and I also was not seeing the light of day. And in the dark months, the creative juices were not flowing until I was struck by inspiration. And I realized there's something that I've always wanted. A brick wall. If you watch any of my previous videos, I mentioned that I live in a 1901 house that I've been working on restoring and kind of bringing the character back into after it was given the landlord special by the previous owner and everything was painted white and was millennial gray and had no character whatsoever. One thing that isn't necessarily time accurate, but this house didn't have, that was something I really wanted, was an exposed brick wall. I know all my 2014 Tumblr girlies know what I mean. Last, my house is built of wood and not stone. And even if I were to rip off some plaster, there's not gonna be brick underneath there. So I got to thinking, you know one of my favorite things to use in my crafts is cardboard. Why don't I make a brick wall out of cardboard? That being said, if you are a contractor, a home inspector, a carpenter, a mason, a person who works with bricks and stone, please click off this video because I'm just letting you know now, this is not for you, okay? Now that they're gone and it's just as questionable DIYers, let's get on with the video. The first decision that I had to make is what of the many walls in this house am I going to defile with cardboard? So I decided to select a wall in one of the strangest rooms in the house, which also happens to be the room I spend the most time in, my creepy little converted attic office. So here's the wall I selected. I'm not sure if you can really tell on camera, but it is very lumpy. It also has these 2 blue circles on it. Not sure what that's about. Fun fact about me, my real life job is as a financial assistant. So I did some quick maths and Googled the dimensions of a brick and measured the wall, figured out how many cardboard bricks I needed to make in order to cover this wall. Now, as someone who suffers from social anxiety, is slightly agoraphobic, I happen to get a lot of packages delivered to my house, so having cardboard was no issue for me. So I took some boxes, so I made a stencil of the dimensions of a brick and traced it onto my other cardboard. Of course, one of my cats had to make an appearance. They're the real stars of this channel. Speaking of, Now I realized that watching someone cut rectangles out of cardboard is about as exciting as watching paint dry. So I'll spare you the several hours of footage I have of me doing that and jump right to the good stuff. Now earlier I mentioned that the room that I decided to put my brick wall in is one of the strangest rooms in the house. Let me give you a little before tour. It has some lumpy walls. I don't know if you can tell, but it also has a very low ceiling. I am 5'9" for reference, and this is me standing up. As I said earlier, I spend a lot of time in here doing just girly things like using the calculator app, watching and messing around on my computer. Another fun fact about me, I have a tattoo machine. I'm unlicensed, I'm just a scratcher. That's a conversation for another time. But this room is also where I keep all my tattooing supplies. So once I cut out all of my bricks, I came in and got to work. Now, something I forgot to mention about this room is that it has a window that is original to the house, 1901. So it does not open, no matter how hard you try. And along with cardboard being one of my favorite things to craft with, I also like to use E6000. And if you've ever used E6000, you know that it puts off a lot of fumes. So after a few hours of doing this, I was feeling those fumes in that non-ventilated room. So I attached the cardboard to the wall with some E6000. I also put a push pin in it because the E6000 doesn't dry fast enough to hold the brick up once you stick it on, so it needed a little help. I began the long, grueling process of gluing each individual brick to the wall. I would tell you how many bricks it was, but I lost the piece of paper I did all the math on, so And then because my brain was fried not only from doing the same thing over and over again for what seemed like hours, but also from breathing in the E6000 fumes, I decided to start texturing some of the bricks. And the way I did this is I used joint compound. And the next day, after I came down from my E6000 high, also that's a joke, don't huff glue, I got back to work on my brick sticking. So while you watch me do the same thing over and over, stick the bricks on, and then take a break to add texture to them using joint compound, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So I realized I started this channel and really give you no context of my life. My name's Audrey, hence the name Audrey Onyx. I live just outside of the downtown area of a, I'd say kind of major Midwest city. I'm not going to tell you which one because I don't want to dox myself. As aforementioned, I work in finance. I work for a nonprofit. I'm in a long-term relationship with my best friend. Also, we actually happen to be married for 4 years next month. That being said, I got married really young. I got married when I was 20. You can do the math on how old I am. And I have 4 cats, 3 inside, 2 outside. Other than doing miscellaneous crafts and DIY projects and working on restoring my home, one of my biggest hobbies is reading. I like to read fantasy mostly, as you can probably guess by the context of some of my videos, I've mentioned that. I also like to play video games. I'm not a FPS player at all by any means. Please do not make me play first-person shooter games. I like turn-based fighting games. If you watch my Ren Fair video, you know I like Hearthstone. But I also am a big fan of Honkai Star Rail. I've never played Genshin Impact, don't come for me. Casual fan, okay? I also like to play Grand Theft Auto, but not the way you think. I just like to drive around. And I also like Minecraft.
One eternity later.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You also may be asking yourself, Audrey, why didn't you just use the brick paneling that they make? I drove a small car. How do you expect me to haul that home, first of all? Second of all, I did not realize it was going to take me so long, and I was going to breathe in so much E6000. I should probably explain some of my technique here. So to texture the bricks, I use a combination of joint compound and silicone, and I just kind of use the joint compound to make them look like rough, you know, brick texture. And then I use the silicone kind of between the bricks, because you know how cardboard has those like little wavy things in it? I use that to kind of cover them up. And after many hours and breathing in so much E6000, I finished attaching and texturing the bricks. Now also my plan for the brick wall, rather than just having a standard red brick wall, I kind of want to give it a lime wash look. So without further ado, let's get my creepy little attic bricked up.
It was at this moment that she knew.
And again, if you're a contractor or home inspector or anyone in that field, you should have clicked off by now. If you weren't jarred enough about me using E6000 and thumbtacks to stick cardboard to my wall, you're about to be really jarred about my painting technique. Because I did not use wall paint, no. Like any good DIYer. I use craft paint because I got a ton of that. You think I got brick red wall paint lying around? So referring back to my inspiration pics, I wanted kind of a lime wash look, not necessarily just red brick. So I mixed 3 different colors and kind of alternated dipping my brush in them. If you look at any brick wall, it's not really uniform in color. Also, you gotta trust the process for this part because it definitely looks a little rough at this point. And then I also saw my inspiration for this project come to life. Anyways, once the red was dried, I decided to brush over it with white paint. And that was also taking 1,000 years, so I started rolling it on. Aside from just making a fake brick wall in the room, I also kind of want to redo the room a little bit and turn it into a little bit more of like a cozy library study. I move my bookshelves in here. As aforementioned, I'm an avid reader. I moved all my books in. So with that, let's adventure forth into the reveal. am definitely very, very pleased with how this came out. I've been told by people I've had over since finishing this that it looks like a real brick wall. And if I'm being entirely honest, I wasn't sure when I started this project how well it was going to turn out. Despite the fact that it took me many hours to do, I think it has a lot more of an authentic look than it would have if I had just used brick paneling. And it was also a heck of a lot cheaper. I also try my best to be eco-conscious. It also feels very good knowing that I was able to reuse the cardboard boxes I already had rather than going out and purchasing new materials. But as you saw in the reveal, I put a little futon in here that I'm able to lay down and read and sit and chill on. Even though there is a guest room in this house, if we do have any additional guests, it's an option for them to sleep in here. I also think it's going to be a lot more enjoyable spending time in here now that there's actually ample seating. And it's also a lot more visually pleasing than it was before. And while this room is kind of an odd, quirky little room with a low ceiling, I feel like that's part of its charm. And while this room definitely could use a little bit more work, as much this old house could use a little bit more work, there definitely are more projects I want to do in here and in the house in general. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe because I will be posting more home improvement videos. And coming up, I will be posting more crafting content as well. But thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Audrionics. And I will see you next time. Safe travels!